The rain fell softly on the cobblestone streets of New Orleans, creating an atmosphere of melancholy that enveloped the city. Amidst the mist and the murmur of the rain, there was Emily, a 30-year-old woman whose life was marked by routine and monotony. She worked as an editor at a small literary magazine, a job that kept her away from her true passions, writing and love. One night, determined to break away from her predictable life, she headed to a bar in the French Quarter. The place was filled with dim lights and live jazz music. The air was thick with the smell of tobacco and lust. As she walked through the door, her eyes met those of a man staring at her from behind the bar. His name was Jeek, a charismatic, free-spirited artist who radiated an energy that immediately drew her in. "Would you like to join me?" Jeek asked, smiling in a way that made Emily's heart pound. Emily sat down next to Jeek, and within minutes, they began talking as if they had known each other all their lives. He told her about his works, about his passion for art, and Emily, intoxicated by his charisma, realized that there was something about him that unleashed a deep, forgotten desire inside her. The hours passed by in laughter and complicity, and the chemistry between them intensified. As the night came to an end, Jeek walked her to her car. Inside her apartment, the atmosphere became electrically charged. The background music mixed with the sound of the rain. Emily could not resist any longer. In a burst of desire, she approached Jeek and kissed him. Their lips met with an intensity that awakened a passion she thought was buried. The night transformed into a whirlwind of caresses, laughter and whispers. Jeek's fingers ran over Emily's body with a softness that made her feel alive. Her skin crawled with each touch, and soon they found themselves on the couch, surrounded by the soft light of the lamps. Jeek looked into her eyes, and in that moment, Emily knew it wasn't just desire that bound her to him, there was something deeper. After a night of unbridled passion, they woke up in each other's arms, the outside world blurred in silence. But as the day wore on, reality began to sink in. Jeek stood up and, as he dressed, looked at Emily with an expression that combined desire and confusion. "I don't want this to end," he said, his voice soft but sincere. "Me neither," she replied, feeling the anguish beginning to creep in. "But I don't know what we are." The days passed, and Jeek and Emily met often, immersing themselves in a relationship that was both an adventure and a challenge. They strolled through the botanical gardens, shared romantic dinners, and lost themselves in deep conversations that lasted until the early hours of the morning. Each encounter was an explosion of passion, a connection that defied words. However, over time, the intensity of the relationship began to bring with it an emotional roller coaster. Despite moments of happiness, Jeek was a free spirit who was afraid to commit. Arguments became common. Emily wanted more stability, while Jeek wanted to enjoy life without ties. One night, after a passionate encounter, they sat together on the terrace, the city lit up below them. Emily, feeling vulnerable, broke the silence. "Jeek, what are we really?" she asked, her voice shaking. "I don't know," he replied, looking out at the horizon. "But what I have with you is real. I want you to know that I care about you." However, Jeek's words were not enough to calm Emily's insecurities. The relationship began to feel like a high-tension game, and doubts grew. One night, after a heated argument about their futures, Jeek walked out, leaving Emily heartbroken. Over time, Jeek's absence became unbearable. Emily immersed herself in her work, trying to distract herself, but there was always an echo of his laughter and the warmth of his hugs that haunted her. She decided to focus on her writing and began to express her pain in stories that spoke of love, loss, and desire. Slowly, Emily began to find her voice as a writer. She joined a writing workshop where she met other artists who were also looking for ways to express themselves. During one of the sessions, she met Mark, a charming writer who seemed to understand her struggle. Over time, they began dating and Emily's life took an unexpected turn. Yet deep in her heart, there was still a part of her that yearned for Jeek. Memories of their nights together and the spark of their connection haunted her. At a literary party, searching for inspiration, she came across Jeek. The world seemed to stop, their eyes met, and the air was filled with a palpable tension. "I've missed you," Jeek said, his voice soft but full of emotion. "I do too, but I can't go on like this," Emily replied, feeling the internal conflict overwhelming her. Jeek moved closer, and the desire that had been bottled up inside her surged back to life. The attraction was undeniable, but so were the realities that separated them. Emily found herself caught between the temptation to rekindle her relationship with Jeek and the desire to build something new with Mark. After that night, Emily made a decision. Instead of letting her feelings consume her, she decided to be honest. She met with Mark and told him about Jeek, about her emotions, and about what she really wanted. "I don't want to hurt you, but I need to be honest," she said, her voice full of determination. "I'm not ready to let Jeek go." The confrontation with Mark was hard, but liberating. Mark understood and, although he was hurt, he accepted Emily's decision. She felt a huge weight lift from her shoulders, but at the same time, she knew that the road ahead would not be easy. With a mixture of fear and excitement, she decided to find Jeek and clarify what she felt. When they met again, the atmosphere was charged with energy. Jeek looked at her with an intensity that made her feel alive. Emily took a deep breath and began to speak. "I need to know if this is worth it," she said, her eyes locked with his. "I've felt empty since you left, but I also know I can't lose myself in this." Jeek, surprised by her honesty, reached out and took her hand. "I never wanted to hurt you, Emily. The truth is, I can't stop thinking about you." After that conversation, their encounters became more intense and passionate. The chemistry between them was undeniable, and every time they were together, the outside world disappeared. The nights were filled with laughter, hugs, and whispered promises. One night, while they were on the terrace of their apartment, the moon was shining brightly. Jeek took Emily by the waist and looked into her eyes. "I can't promise you the world, but I can offer you my heart," he said, his voice deep and sincere. Emily's heart raced. She knew she had to take a chance. "I'm willing to take a chance too," she replied, her lips moving closer to his. The kiss that followed was an explosion of emotions, a connection that seemed to transcend time and space. They gave themselves to each other, leaving behind doubts and fears. That night, their bodies intertwined as if destiny had been waiting for them. Despite their renewed passion, the consequences of their dangerous desire still lurked. Emily and Jeek found themselves trapped in a cycle of love and pain. Although their encounters were intense, Emily's insecurity began to resurface. "Jeek, are you sure this is what you want?" she asked one night, as they snuggled under the covers. "I just want to be with you, Emily." "But I need you to trust me," he replied, his voice thick with emotion. Emily knew she had to let go of her fears. She decided to talk to Jeek about their future, about what they really wanted to build together. One afternoon, as they strolled through the botanical gardens, Emily stopped and looked at Jeek. "I need to know if we're on the same page," she said, her voice firm. Jeek looked at her, understanding the gravity of the conversation. "I want you to know that I am here for you. I can't predict the future, but I want to explore this with you." Emily felt a glimmer of hope, but also a pang of fear. "What if we can't make it work?" she asked, feeling vulnerable. "We won't know if we don't try," Jeek replied, taking her hands. As their days together grew longer, Emily began to understand that love required courage. The passion between them was real, but so were their insecurities. She decided to take a chance, to let love blossom in her life. Finally, one day, as the sun set over the horizon, Emily made a decision. She turned to Jeek, her heart in her hand. "I want to be with you, Jeek. I want to see where this takes us," she said, feeling the excitement wash over her. Jeek smiled, and there was a promise in his eyes. "Then we'll do it together," he replied, hugging her tightly. Emily and Jeek began to build their relationship, leaving their doubts behind. Every day was a new adventure, an opportunity to explore their love. Over time, Emily realized that her passions were not dangerous, but essential to her personal growth. As they supported each other, Emily began publishing her short stories, drawing inspiration from her relationship with Jeek. Her stories of desire and emotional struggle resonated with many, and her bold style caught the attention of a major publisher. Along the way, Emily learned that desire can be a powerful force, capable of taking us to unexpected places. She had faced her fears and emerged stronger. As she looked back, she realized that her story with Jeek was just the beginning. She had made choices that led her on a transformative journey, a journey where desire was not only dangerous, but also liberating. With a heart full of hope, Emily was ready for any adventure life had to offer, willing to live her story with courage and passion, without regrets. Life, after all, was a blank canvas, and she was ready to paint it with the colors of love. If you liked this story, give us a like and subscribe to our channel to receive notifications of new stories of passion. Thank you.